Step back in time, to the 19th century, to a powerful West African kingdom known as Dahomey, located in what we now call the Republic of Benin. This wasn't just any kingdom. It was a military powerhouse, feared and respected across the continent. At the heart of its capital, Dahomey, stood a grand palace, home to the king. But within these walls, an even greater legend was forged. They were the king's elite guard, his personal protectors, and the most formidable fighting force in the land. They were known to their people as the Minyo, which means our mothers. The rest of the world, awestruck and terrified, would call them the Dahomey Amazons. The story of the Minyo is a tale of strength, discipline, and an unbreakable sisterhood. While women had been part of Dahomey's military for some time, it was under the rule of King Gizo in the early 1800s that their role was formalized and expanded. He saw their potential, their loyalty, and their ferocity. He transformed them from a palace guard into a full-fledged, all-female army. Becoming a Minyo was no easy path. Recruits, some as young as girls, were chosen for their spirit and resilience. Their training was the stuff of nightmares, designed to strip away fear and instill absolute discipline. Imagine this. Recruits were commanded to scale massive walls, not made of brick or stone, but woven entirely from sharp, unforgiving acacia thorns. This wasn't just a test of physical endurance. It was a trial of the will, a way to prove they could overcome any pain, any obstacle. They learned to handle a terrifying arsenal of weapons with deadly skill. They mastered the musket, a symbol of modern warfare at the time, but they were equally adept with the traditional tools of battle. They wielded the razor-sharp machete, or gubwa, with terrifying efficiency. Their swordsmanship was unparalleled. Every day was a grueling cycle of drills, mock battles, and relentless physical conditioning, forging them into living weapons. To be a Minyo was to be set apart, elevated above ordinary society. They were considered wives of the king, but this was a symbolic marriage, one that bound them to the throne and forbade them from having children or personal relationships with men. Their entire existence was dedicated to the state, to their king, and to their sisters in arms. Their status was absolute. When the Minyo walked through the streets, their presence commanded a unique form of respect. They were often preceded by a servant girl, ringing a small bell. This was a signal. Upon hearing it, every man in their path was required to step aside, avert his gaze, and show deference. To even accidentally touch a Minyo was a grave offense. They were not just soldiers. They were sacred figures, a living embodiment of the kingdom's strength and the king's power. This separation fostered an intense bond among the warriors themselves. They lived together, trained together, and fought together. This sisterhood was the bedrock of their unit, a source of immense psychological strength on the battlefield. The late 19th century brought a new and formidable threat to Dahomey's doorstep: French colonial expansion. The French, with their advanced weaponry and imperial ambitions, sought to control the lucrative port of Cotonou, a vital economic artery for the kingdom. This clash of powers would lead to one of the most famous and ferocious battles in the Minyo's history, the Battle of Cotonou. As the French forces advanced, they expected to face a conventional army. They were not prepared for the Minyo. The women warriors launched themselves into the fray with a battle cry that chilled the blood of their enemies. They fought with a tactical brilliance that stunned the French commanders. They used coordinated flanking maneuvers, surprise attacks from concealed positions, and a sheer, unrelenting bravery that seemed to defy the very concept of fear. Eyewitness accounts from French soldiers speak of the Amazons' incredible tenacity. They describe them fighting on through grievous wounds, scaling enemy barricades, and engaging in brutal hand-to-hand combat, refusing to yield a single inch of ground without a bitter struggle. They were not just fighting for their kingdom. They were fighting for their way of life, for their sisters, and for their honor. Despite their extraordinary valor, the technological disparity was too great. The French army's superior firepower, particularly their rapid-firing machine guns, eventually overwhelmed the warriors of Dahomey. The kingdom fell, and its army, including the legendary Minyo, was disbanded. The age of the Amazons had come to a tragic end. But a legend, once born, can never truly die. The story of the Minyo endured, passed down through generations. They became more than just historical figures. They transformed into a powerful, enduring symbol of female strength, courage, and empowerment. They proved that women could be warriors, leaders, and protectors on the equal of any man. Their legacy echoes in the fight for equality and recognition for women around the world. It's said that the last surviving Dahomey Amazon, a woman named Nawi, lived well into the 20th century. And ferocious battle. a living link to a time when she and her sisters were the most feared warriors in Africa. Their spirit, the spirit of the Minyo, lives on. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, please like, share, and subscribe for more incredible tales from history.